Hello everyone, Richard here and welcome to a new weekly overview here on AltCryptoTalk. Today we are going to go over 10 top altcoins to buy in July. So let's get started, and of course don't forget to smash that like button if you like such content. Starting with OP. We've mentioned this one multiple times previously. We have been trading within this big macro channel from a long-term perspective, and it's currently retesting the lower bound of it, acting as an oversold zone. That's why I'm expecting a similar movement to the previous one where we surged by over 150%. But of course, to be confirmed on lower time frames that we'll be checking in a bit. But for now, from weekly time frame, we are rejecting both the lower band of the channel and the 0.5 round number as a massive rejection zone from weekly time frame. If you zoom into H4 time frame, we can see that this latest bearish movement is engulfed within this falling channel, as you can see in red, making lower highs and lower lows. Thus, for the bulls to take over, a break above this channel and of course this previous major high, which is also the inverse head and shoulders neckline. That's our head, left shoulder and the right shoulder. So once we break above these two, the head and shoulders neckline and the upper trend line, we'll be expecting the next bullish wave to start pushing OP Optimism towards this 1.12. Next, we've got Doge. Yes, Doge. It's time for Doge to start surging, in my opinion, as per the charts. From weekly time frame, we have been trading within this rising channel or rising broadening wedge. After breaking above this previous major highs at the 0.1 round number, OP shifted the entire trend from bearish to bullish. Yes, we have been currently bearish, as you clearly see, but this is only from a medium term perspective. From a macro perspective, we are rejecting the low bound of this bullish trend, and currently we are rejecting the 0.15 demand zone support area, multiple rejections from the zone. That's why I'll be looking for longs, of course, to be confirmed on H4 time frame if you break above this last major high at 0.185. Meanwhile, Doge can still push a little bit lower towards the next demand zone at 0.1 round number. Of course, we'll be looking for new longs. Next, we've got Zero or ZRO. It's currently around the low bound of this big range. We've mentioned this one previously when we were around this area. We expected a bearish movement from here, and now I'm expecting a bullish movement from this support. 1.5 is a very strong round number and the lower bound of the support. So as long as it holds, I'll be looking for longs targeting 100% movement upward towards the 3 round number. Of course, as usual, we don't buy blindly. No matter how cheap an altcoin is, no matter how strong a support is, it can still be broken downward. That's why always wait for extra confirmation by, at least as a classical perspective, by breaking the previous major high. And for ZRO, it's around the 2.055. Once we break to the upside, just like also OP, we've got an inverse head and shoulders, and if you break above the neckline at 2.0055, we'll be looking for bullish movement. Next, we've got LPT. As mentioned previously in the Coin of the Week article, for those who watched it, we have been overall bearish, but lately or last week, we've broken above this zone after rejecting, as mentioned previously, this demand zone. A massive one, lining up with the 5 round number. We've got a demand, the 5 round number, and also we broke above this falling channel. All of these reasons are screaming bullish for LPT at least. We are currently trading within this rising channel and approaching the low bound of it. That's why we'll be looking for shorter trend following longs targeting the 7, which is around 40% movement upward from here. And next, if you break above the 7, we'll be expecting a bigger bullish movement towards the 10 round number. If you zoom into H1 time frame, we have been in a correction phase, as you clearly see in red. If you break above it, we'll be expecting this bullish movement towards the 7 round number. Next, POLYX. Around the weekly support zone, you can clearly see it, massive rejections from here around the 0.1, 0.12. As long as the 0.1 round number holds as a support, I'll be looking for longs. Of course, meanwhile, we can still dive within the zone, but at least we're around a very strong support zone. Previously resistance here around 0.2 and support here multiple times around the 0.1 round number. For the bulls to take over, very simple manner. We've got this inverse head and shoulders just like OP and the previous ones. We covered LPT, HBAR. Once we break above the neckline, we'll be expecting the next big bullish wave to start. Next, APT, Aptos, one of my favorites. And if you compare APT or Aptos to SUI, you can see that SUI already made new all-time highs multiple times previously, while Aptos, which has a similar programming language, similar ecosystem, is still around the all-time lows or around a very strong support zone. We are talking about the 4 and 5 round numbers. Previously, when we rejected the 4 and 5 round numbers, we surged by over 200 and even 300%. I'm expecting a similar movement as a first target around the 9 to 10 round number. Of course, for the bulls to take over and start this big bullish movement from a long-term perspective, I want to break above the 6.2, but from a medium-term perspective, we just need a break above the 5.3. Once we break it upward, expect a movement towards the 6, and then once we break above the 6.2, expect a movement towards the 9. Meanwhile, we are still bearish from daily and H4, so as we approach the 4 round number again, we'll be looking for new short-term longs. Next, Ondo, one of my favorite RWA, reward assets, tokens, around the low band of this big macro rising broadening wedge. It's flat, yes, but at least it's giving us an overall direction. It's currently testing this area, 0.6 demand zone, lower bound of this rising broadening wedge. So of course, we'll be looking for longs to be confirmed after breaking again above the inverse head and shoulders neckline around 0.82. Once we break it upward, expect a movement towards the 1 round number, and once we break above the 1.1 round number, we'll be expecting a bigger bullish movement towards the 2.3 or even 3 round number. Next, HBAR, one of my favorite OGs. It's a US token and so on. So I know many of you love it. Let me know in the comments which altcoins or which US altcoin you like the best. Demand zone turned into support because we've got multiple rejections already from it, and it's currently retesting the support 0.15 round number, also adding more confluence or more strength to our zone. As long as this holds, the 0.12 holds, we'll be looking for longs. Of course, if we break it to the downside, we'll be expecting further bearish movement towards the 0.05. But for now, the support is still holding, and I'm looking for longs to be confirmed, just like the previous altcoins, inverse head and shoulders channel. Once we break above both the neckline and the upper bound, we'll be expecting the next bullish wave to start. Next, we've got comp weekly time frame around the low bound of this big flat rising broadening wedge, and it's currently retesting the 40 or 35 support zone. So of course, I'll be expecting this movement towards the 70 round number, which is a very strong resistance zone. Multiple times we've got rejections from this area. Anyway, we're approaching the support, looking for longs. H4 time frame, just saw it. Overall bearish trading within this falling channel. Once we break above the last major high, we'll be expecting a shift in momentum towards the 70. Meanwhile, since we are bearish, we can still dive within the 35-40 support zone, where of course we'll be looking for new longs. Last but not least, Render, previously RNDR, currently RENDER. Around a very strong support zone, monthly time frame, you can clearly see it, support, resistance, currently support. 2 and 3 round numbers are what matters. Daily time frame, you are retesting it. As long as we are above these highs, I'll be expecting this movement towards the 7 round number. 7 is also a very strong resistance zone and lining up perfectly with the upper bound of this falling channel. H4 time frame, very similar to the previous altcoins covered in this video. Big inverse head and shoulders, break above the 3.5 neckline, and expect this movement towards the 7-8 round numbers. That's it for this week. We've covered 10 altcoins. Let me know which one is your favorite and which ones you would like me to cover next. And of course, don't forget to smash that like button. I'll see you next week.